You're listening to Ignite Your Success, a podcast that inspires fitness professionals to build a strong business that enables them to serve more people and engineer the lifestyle they desire. It's Brad Shepherd here, and together with Jason Ubanowicz, we're best known for running Trainer HQ, a community of passionate and profit-hungry fitness business owners that make a massive difference in others' lives every day. Each episode will unpack for you exactly what's working and deliver best practice strategies so you can confidently grow your business and make a huge impact. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Ignite Your Ultimate Success podcast. My name is Brad Shepherd, and I'm joined by my business partner, Mr. Jason Ubanowicz.
Stop it.
Crowd goes wild.
Stop it.
How are you, brother?
I'm good. It's been a while.
Been a while, isn't it?
Some would say too long.
Some would say too long.
Some would say not long enough.
What's been going on for you, bro?
Mate, next question.
Let's let the cat out of the bag. You're missing a tooth, right?
I knew that's where you were going with that.
Yep. What's going on, mate? Like, otherwise, people are going to be sitting there watching this thing, and they're going to go, "What the fuck is going on with that guy?"
Some people are going to be listening to this on Spotify, so
True.
they wouldn't see it. So now you brought it to their attention that I'm missing a tooth.
True.
So yeah, I'm missing a tooth, everyone, for in case you're wondering, and it is going to get fixed. It's not a new look I'm going for. I don't really enjoy whistling while I talk. So if you do hear any kind of whistles while I'm talking, I'm missing one of my front teeth, unfortunately. In to get fixed, but thanks for bringing that up, mate. And,
mate, that's what friends are for. That is what friends are for.
It happens to the best of us. The last time I had a Kit Kat at midnight.
Or three. But today we are here to talk all about rates, pricing, the psychology behind it, and what might impact people to, I guess, behave certain ways when it comes to presenting your prices, putting your prices up, all that sort of stuff. Is that where we're going with this?
I think it's a great topic, and after all the years of teaching and running Trainer HQ since 2008. It's one of the most common things that we see in terms of when we ask people about their pricing structure, right? So, typical thing we hear and see, and look, I would have done it when I first started out as well. Is if someone does one session, normally what happens, it starts at the rate that they want to receive, right? That they set their rate at.
Correct. Yeah.
But then for some,
I wasn't. There was a stutter there. I was correct. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And then the second, if they do two sessions for some magical reason, the price that they actually want to receive for the same amount of work reduces.
Yep.
And then if someone wants to do a third session per week, funny enough, it even goes down even lower.
Magically drops again. So it's not uncommon for us to see something like one a week at 70, two a week at 60, and three a week at 50. And that's probably, not uncommon for us to see something like that for all these years of doing what we do.
Yeah. And look, we could probably save a lot of time if we just said, stop fucking doing it.
That's right. That's it.
We will expand on it. We will give you a little bit more insight. But the fascinating thing about it is where did that whole concept come from and start? And, well, typically it's monkey see, monkey do, right?
Correct.
So there's no real business approach to it other than, maybe a gym manager had told me that was probably a good thing to do to get people to do more sessions.
Saw somebody else doing it.
Saw someone else doing it, or another trainer recommended it.
And psychology says people, people, I'm generalizing, people love to get a bargain, love to get a deal, so therefore what I'll do is I'll discount. Now, I guess you're going back to going, well, I'm worth $70 for my 45-minute session, worth every single cent of it. But now what's happening is people signing up for 2 or 3 a week, and all that's great. They're going to be turning up more frequently. What I've just done is just given myself a pay decrease, haven't I?
Yeah, and without even understanding if that person wanted the discount in the first place. Some people may, some people may not. And I always looked at it like if someone can afford in their budget or see the value in your service to do 3 times a week, them saving $5 or $10 on each session is probably not an issue. The person who can't even invest for one session per week, well, it's a different story, right? They're probably not their ideal client for you if they're maybe willing but not able to invest. So we want to break this down, and everything we do and teach is not just guesswork. It's more, we always say, why did you decide to make that decision? So we'll ask that question before jump into somebody and say, well, that's wrong. It's more like, well, what made you decide to do that? Unless we hear some concrete, proven business strategy why someone did it, then our job is to go, well, that's costing you money.
Yeah.
You're working harder for less. All these things that if you're in a job and the boss said to you, we're going to get you to do more work but pay you less, you probably wouldn't be too happy about it.
That's right.
So as your own boss, we've got to question, why are we up for doing the same amount of work for less money?
Yep, that's right. Then if we add it up in very basic terms, you go, okay, let's say that was on average about $10 per session, because some people are doing 2, some are doing 3, all the rest of it. Times that by 25 sessions a week, 5 sessions a day, 5 days a week, there's $250. That's $1,000. That's $250 a week, $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. Is that a significant amount of money? Yeah, it is. Yeah, in anyone's books.
And then the other side is just psychologically, what are you telling yourself on a subconscious level, that you're happy to take less money for the same amount of work?
Yeah,
like that's not a healthy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's not a healthy message to send yourself, that I'm happy to discount my value, my worth, just because someone decides to do more than one session. I don't think that's a really healthy mindset to instill in ourselves.
That's right.
So we could go on about this for a while. I think if you're watching this or listening, you probably already, some light bulbs are going off, or you're getting what we're saying, right? And our job is to help people in the fitness industry to earn what they desire, but also have the proper way to do it. So if we took all those things, and I would say could be false beliefs, could be accurate for some people, that some people may want discounts, sure. Some people have the right to ask for discounts. We all have the right to ask for less. Doesn't mean that we have to say yes to it. But if we took all of that and just put it to the side for a moment and go, well, how do we do it then? What's another way? So instead of defaulting straight to the discount, and undercharging and cutting our own income back, what would be another way that someone could do it if they go, hey, well, guys, what's another way I could potentially do it?
Yeah. Well, the way we've seen clients do it here at Train HQ and use most successfully, if there's nothing wrong with the model, but it's about the delivery. And so my thing is always to go, we want to go the opposite way. So if $70 is the amount that you want to earn, and you look yourself in the mirror and you go, yep, I'm worth every single cent of this $70 for my 45-minute session. And again, the price that someone gets for a session is completely up to them. It's not my business, Jason's business, anyone else. It's your choice, right? Your business, you decide that. But we go the other way. We go to get me for $70 per session. That's when you're going to enroll in 3 sessions per week. And that's how that works. So you know that I'm guaranteed to get the amount that I want. Now, 2 sessions a week might be $75 per session, and at 1 session a week might be $80 a session. So what we do is we flip that model and we go the complete opposite way. Now, if I was to say to you, Mr. Personal Trainer or Mrs. Personal Trainer, you're currently happy with the $70, you say, yes, very much so. And I say, what if I was to give you $80 for a single session? What do you think might that be that person's response? They would say, fucking oath. Yeah, please give it to me, So that's the concept behind it. And it's very simple to do, but also it's also one thing that we see gets massively neglected, because once again, we get to up to 200 clients every year join our higher level coaching programs. Coming up to 15 years now, we have literally thousands of people who enter the Trainer HQ community, and we get to have lots of these conversations and we get to hear it across the board. And I think what you're alluding to before is what we often see in the fitness industry is people jump into the fitness industry regardless of their sort of experience, and then they go, oh, okay, hey, become a personal trainer, get qualified, get going. Oh, how does it all work here again? Yep, okay, cool. You get roughly, and I'm just generalizing with the 70 or $80 or whatever. Here's what you get paid. All right, beauty. And so what do? Well, you do 1 for this, you discount for 2, and then you give them a better deal for 3. All right, cool. I guess what I must do then. And we just see it continuing the whole way across with no real thought behind it.
Yeah, and And probably they're probably excited because you wouldn't believe it. They sign up for 3 sessions a week, not thinking about the other financial part. And again, like you were saying, depending on your level of understanding business, do you have a business strategy, a plan? How much experience do you know about, setting your financial targets, tracking stats and figures? Then right in front of you, that probably looks appealing.
That's right.
Go, they sign up for 3 sessions a week.
Happy days.
Happy days. But again, there's just not the plan in place to really ask yourself, why am I doing that? And of course, when you're starting, and look, there's not just people starting. We've met plenty of people who've been in the industry for a long time doing that because that was just the way they got introduced to their business, and they've continued to do that. They're the ones that feel really sick when that equation that you just pointed out before, going, that you've missed out on like thousands of dollars, but you've done the same work.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, these just very common, but also it's quite easy for you to be able to switch this, because if you've got current clients and they're paying a certain amount, of course, going through a rates increase systems at some point in time is going to be important. Now you might say, well, hold on, I signed up a bunch of people in the last 2 months. It's probably not time for me to increase their rates, and that statement would make sense. But then you go, all right, so if we just make a change today, right? Anyone listening to this podcast, watching the video, you can make the change today, and all of your new clients, they had no idea what your rate was yesterday or the day before, right? Can you have different clients paying different amounts? Absolutely. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if person A turns around and says, hold on, why am I paying $80 a session? And I just spoke to this guy over here and he's paying $70 a session. Where you say, well, what happens is when people have been with me for a longer term, they get rewarded for being a long-term client. So what that means is the rates do go up. And in the future, when I'm charging somebody else $120 for a session, you may only be paying $110 a session. And so that helps you justify that. If anyone's concerned about how to set that up and having this thing across the board. In addition to that, back to our Trainer HQ clients, I mean, we've got plenty of clients who don't discount or don't change the rate for multiple sessions. They go,
that's what I was going to say. Yeah, that's the other part.
Is $80 a session, whether you do 1, 2, or 10 sessions a week, that's the fee is the fee, and that's the price I put on my time.
And there's something in that as well, right? There's something in that psychology of owning that space and your value that people will also pick up on. On the flip side, if you're quick to discount, it can also give another perception of devaluing a service. So again, you got to take the business strategies part of it in mind and also the psychology part of it in mind. But I like that because that was the part I was sitting here thinking, going, if you go to a physio or a chiro and they need to see you ongoingly or a couple of times a week, they're not jumping to, by the way, your second one's going to be cheaper and your third one's going to be cheaper again. It's the price is the price.
Yeah.
So you are putting a value on your time that you have to turn up and exchange time for money.
Yep. Now those of you who might be piecing together more selling, let's call it a program or a service, then once again, there's something that we highly recommend. So once again, instead of we're moving away from selling session by session and putting a per session price against it and going, my gold package, and we could think of a sexier name, includes 3 PT sessions a week, monthly body assessments, support from me. You can check in, might be some nutritional guidance, whatever the things that the features that you offer. And for that costs $297 a week on my direct debit. So that's another way of pricing it. And the beauty of that, it enables you to sort of put a value against all the things that you might be giving away for, potentially as a bonus or for free, where your clients might not really see the value in. So they might not be watching you when you're sitting down for 2 to 4 hours a week, writing programs and giving feedback and assessing it and so forth. So piecing together a program like this with a name, an end goal, an end solution is another way where you can package all this up quite eloquently.
It's, again, I hope what's hitting home at the moment is that it is so important to understand the journey of your business, the sense of direction of your business, the right structure and the right skill set required to make sure that you can, execute everything we're talking about. And again, that's why since 2008 we've been providing this training, education through our consulting, coaching, our online courses, platforms, because really, the way I look at business is that it's like the share market, the stock market. You want to get the best return on all your hard work and effort while the time that you have available in business. So why do things that are going to limit your ability to not only have satisfaction in your role, help more people, but also get the return that you want. So I say do the work, get rewarded, not do the work and limit yourself to what you can potentially earn. So I hope that's coming across in what we've discussed so far, that we are talking about helping you and people we work with get the most out of the effort and energy they put in. Because if you're going to be in business, that would be my expectations, that you want to be more profitable, whatever that is for you. You want more freedom, flexibility, and you want to help more people. And that'll only occur if you educate yourself in the business side of things as well, and understand why you're doing everything on a week-to-week, month-to-month, year-to basis.
And what all this is what we refer to as hidden money. It's money that's sitting right under your nose, and as a business owner, you can be in the business.
And if you see my nose, there's quite a bit that could be hidden underneath that.
It's a decent amount of cash under there, just quietly.
It's quite the snoz.
And it's because you're in your business day in, day out, and this is what we see all the time with people that come through, is that because you're in it doing the do, you can miss some of the things that seem blatantly obvious, and we get to look at it and we go, have you considered this? Have you considered that? And I saw someone just recently, spoke to someone literally just yesterday, a single session, $75. Do 2 sessions a week, went down to $52.50 per session. Now, that person had set it up in such a way that they wanted people to do 2 sessions a week, but when we went through it, I said, are you getting much? My first question is always going to be, look, I'm just curious, because I'm not going to jump in and go, mate, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. You thought it though.
I did. I said,
he definitely thought it.
He could just see the look in my eyes. No, I said, the first question I got is, do you get much in the way of price resistance? So do you get many people who are, and I said, with a single session, with 2 a week, whatever, and his short answer was, look, not really. I've had it on a couple of occasions, but not really. So the answer is obvious to me straight away. Even at $75 a session, like we haven't got. If he was coming to me saying, I'm getting a lot of tire kickers and people, that for that amount of money, whatever. But the answer was no. Like I've got a pretty good strike rate, and I go, okay, cool. Well, it's probably time for us to consider how do we play around with this and move it in such a way that that works to your advantage. That's for sure.
So many offshoots of this topic that we're now starting to branch out into. Because even when I hear you say that, even if there was price resistance, then it's, well, what's your experience of selling? How much education and understanding? Sell me on your service. So there's so many different factors that come into it.
Yes.
And I think that also contributes to the discounting. It is a lack of confidence in how to sell, how to do it effectively. So it seems like the obvious first choice, rather than if you have educated yourself and got a high level of experience in sales and you enjoy it and you get yourself to enjoy it, then you'd understand that discounting is never the first option, or it's the dead last option.
Yeah.
It's about how good are you in the area of selling your service, because then it's not about the money, it's about showing them the value.
Yes.
But we could go down that whole different path, right, with this.
The other one that we 100% agree with all that, and it's a whole. It's going to be awkward if I don't. Hey, it's and
we're probably due for an online argument.
We are actually today's podcast is sponsored by Bundaberg Diet Ginger Beer.
Yeah,
look at us, hey.
It's
trim, taut, and terrific on the Bundaberg Diet Ginger Beer, hey.
We made that up. It's definitely not. It's sponsored now because we said so.
Anyone watching this, if you want to send us a carton,
to be honest, I'd rather have a dentist sponsoring this one, because then I'd get that fucking tooth fixed for under 10 grand. Anyway, it's not about me today, of course, and my missing tooth.
The other part, which I see is a bit of an issue for some, is that transition into GST, right? So I'm cruising along, business is growing. I'm starting to get on the cusp of that $1,500 a week, which is leading me towards that $75,000 a year, which is that turning point for becoming registered for GST, goods and services tax, in this country, in Australia. And it's sort of like a bit of a double-edged sword, because you're growing, you're making more money, things are moving in the right direction, and then you get slugged with another 10% that you got to dish out to your clients. And so that transition's quite an interesting one. Let's talk through some of the experiences we've seen with clients who've got to that point.
Well, firstly, even though the show is sponsored by Bunda, it is quite fizzy, and I've just had about 3 opportunities to burp then, and it was quite painful just to push that down.
It would become more Aussie if you did. I think.
Yeah. So that was my way of saying there's probably one coming.
Feeling fucking lean butt after drinking the diet.
It's just like the weight falls off you.
Oh, man.
Just sitting here.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but well done, Bundaberg. I don't know what the question was.
The GST part. So it's. I guess I'll answer it then.
Yeah. No, you said what have we seen?
Yeah. What have we seen? Yeah.
Well, typically what's happened is exactly how you explained it, that someone has had the increase in income go up and not allowed for the GST component to be added, or haven't done it because of, again, it might fall in that same category of concerned about if I put my prices up, people might leave, even though it is a legitimate tax that now they're occurring. And what I have seen, and there's been a number of cases where I've had to point this out to somebody, that they've actually now, again, like the discounting and sessions, have now lost money because if they were $70 prior to being registered for GST, now they've got to put away that 10%. Then they haven't put that onto their current price to allow for it, which means now they're copping it. They're actually giving themselves another pay decrease because now they're copping the GST component. And it works out to be a considerable amount of money that now you're losing because of that. And so, again, just comes back to a lack of a couple of things, understanding about business at that, which I would say basic level, and it is a basic level. Maybe being aware of it, but then not actioning it because I don't want to put my prices up.
Too concerned, too fearful on how to deliver it, any of that sort of stuff.
And then unfortunately it's not until they receive their profit and loss that they realise that they rather had to work harder again for the same amount because now they're paying the GST on behalf of the client, or they're at a loss, which is the couple of examples I saw, was that they made the same amount gross-wise, but now they were in a deficit.
Right, and they're doing their quarterly bases, and and once again, it could come down to a lack of understanding or knowledge or any of that. So just thinking, okay, here's another tax. But the short story is you got to do it, right? You got to pay it, and it is a privilege to do it because your business is at the point where you're at that next stage of growth and development. Now, the important thing is you need to put it on top of your price. So if you're currently $80 for a single session, you now are $80 plus 10% GST, which is $88. That needs to be moved over to your paying clients. And the way you do it, you have a system behind doing it. And we've got the templates that we use, our clients use. But the short story is what we're doing is we are contributing to this amazing country. And to speak primarily to our clients here in Australia, we get to build roads, schools, hospital, all this sort of stuff. We get to contribute. So if you're ever concerned about going, okay, cool, how does this part all fit in? Well, it's about the next stage of growth and development. And so really for you, that's how you want to mention it to your clients. Go, hey, guess what? My business has hit a new milestone, which is really great. I'm growing. I'm moving in the right direction. What it does mean is that I've moved into this next stage of GST. And what does it mean for you as a client? It means that you are going to be paying 10% extra. That money goes straight to paying for the BAS, which then contributes to all the things that we just mentioned. Now, every time that's been presented, we've never had any people had any backlash or any concern around it. And you only got to do it once in your business life, so you got to make sure that you action it with confidence. But more importantly, just know that, hey, it's just another part of that growth phase, that's for sure.
Here's a question for you that sometimes I've been asked.
Yeah.
And I'll get asked a question of should I include it, so $88, that's including GST, or exclude it in our industry?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Great question. And generally speaking, when you're working business to business, because businesses that are also registered for GST, like when people pay us, right, our fee at Trainer HQ is fee plus GST. Now, if you are GST registered and you're collecting GST, what happens is you submit your quarterly BAS and the GST cancels itself out. So it's effectively like you're not paying it, Now, from going to consumer, so let's say that you are a personal trainer and you're selling to your clients, generally speaking, from business to consumer, you'd usually bundle it all together.
Yeah. I think in the States it's different. They do the plus tax, I think. I think they have the prices plus the tax.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. But here, everything's, you don't go to a restaurant and go, well, then we're going to add the tax on it. The price is the price you see on the menu.
Correct. So generally speaking, now once again, your business, again, your choice. You can do it, right? So when like let's say you get a plumber to come to your house, they might come around and they might charge you, a $300 fee, and it might be $300 on the invoice, and then it'll say $300 plus GST, which makes $330. That's not uncommon, and that's gone from business to consumer. But so once again, you're running your fitness business, but generally speaking, for most of your clients, if you bundle all that up, but then if you let them know this fee does include the 10% GST, so effectively, here's how it looks.
Yeah. So we started with the discount. This is all around putting your business in a better position to win, right? So we're talking about how to manage the financial part of your business, right? So there's that bit. Then we went on to the GST. The other some suggestions that we can provide and we recommend is that I have seen a lot of trainers fall in the trap of not farming the tax or the GST into a separate account.
Yeah.
Hey? Good one.
Jeez, that'll stitch you up.
And again, I was just speaking to some other week, a few people actually like, I've had this outstanding $15,000 tax bill.
Ouch.
$20,000 tax bill, got to get a loan to now pay that, or I'm paying it off in installments. So again, we've got to be very mindful about the financial structure of this business. I get sick and tired of hearing people ask me about how can I get 1 million leads and all these people promoting that out there. However, then I speak to people and go, your structure isn't even set up right, so you're just going to create mess on top of mess. Sorry about getting leads and more likes on social media if you don't even have the basic financial structure set up in your business. So it's definitely something we recommend. We've had our accountant look at the way that we advise our clients to do it, and it was definitely one of these.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Stop it.
It's just more because it is important.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Well, it's not so important. It's actually the law. it's the law.
Which is why it's very important.
So if you are currently discounting on 3 sessions a week, not charging for GST and putting away, and not putting your fucking tax away,
give us a call right now. You're fucked.
If you've watched baseball, it's 3 strikes and you're out. Fucking step into my office, please.
The good news is, once you get this set up and your structure set up right, it just makes business a lot easier to manage, understand where you're truly at financially. You don't get any nasty surprises.
Yep.
And it also gives you plenty of feedback as to what's working, what's not, potential growth and ability to scale your business. Don't have that in place, then it's what we call running the hope plan. You just hope it all pans out. Not a very good way to do business.
Well, we got to think back, right? I think 15 odd years, up to 200 clients every year joining our high level coaching programs, right? Every time we lay out and we design someone's program tracker with their money and their stats and everything that's in there, all the key metrics that we look at, the response is often one of, fuck, where have you been all my business life?
Yeah.
It's like it's news to a lot of people. And for those of you out there, if you're in that position and you haven't really been tracking, you're not really clear on it, once you get your head around this stuff, it's just going to make your job a hell of a lot easier. It's going to make your business a lot more smooth sailing, that's for sure.
We just keep going and going, couldn't we?
We could,
People do actually pay themselves a wage, and what would that be? We could just ongoing.
Yeah.
But look,
well, I guess there is also the psychology of if you're in a growth phase and you're starting up and you let's say I'm only just making enough to sort of keep my head above water.
Yeah.
Hold on, how am I going to put tax away and all this? Well, there's what you do is we figure out what the smallest amount you can do, which still means that you are doing it, right? So let's say
you're in the habit of doing it.
Correct. So let's say your spreadsheet said that you should have put away $74 in tax this week, and you said that that fucking money doesn't exist. It's not there, right? We go, all right, what does exist? Is $24 exist, right? And what it does, it creates a successful habit of doing this so that we can keep checking in on it.
Even with profit, it's the same thing. If it's $2, it's the habit forming that is really important, because as you get more successful and you get more profit, you increase what you can. There's a formula to work that out, of course, in terms of how you would break that down to wage, expenses, to profit. But yeah, at a bare minimum, this stuff is essential and critical. And like Brad said, for the tax part, it's the law, and they want you to do it. So yeah, to avoid those nasty stresses that can be completely avoided.
Yep.
Then this part is really important. And again, jokes aside, we like to have fun and make this side of business, fun, and that's a big part of it. However, there is a serious side, is that this stuff does need to be in place if you're wanting to be successful in the short, medium, long term of business. And if you need help, reach out. You can see plenty of our content, plenty of information, plenty of our success stories, all that stuff to make an educated decision that, hey, speaking of these guys might be a good option just to explore, to see where am I, what's the current reality. There's, like Brad said earlier, there's things that people don't even know they don't know. So how do you change and fix things if you don't even know and understand what's going on? So there's the lack of knowledge, skill set, structure and support, that if we can get them in some kind of order and balance, then it means you've got a clearer sense of direction for your business year on, year out. So very important, and we'd be happy and more than happy to speak to you and just see where that conversation takes us. I think that's
it.
That's amazing.
That's all we got. What do we think, crowd?
Good to be back in the booth.
Oh man,
Because my money doesn't jiggle, it folds.
Wow, bum boom.
Well, that's what he says at the end. I think that's a wrap.
So we'll wrap up, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much for joining us on our Ignite Your Ultimate Success.
If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment, subscribe. All that stuff helps.
Yeah.
Ginger beer.
Look at us.
Diet.
I'm fucking fading away here.